I'm too busy. Nobody asked me. I don't have anything to offer. I'm not needed. These are some of the most common reasons we give not to volunteer, but they are misconceptions. According to Stanford University, although over 90% of Americans want to volunteer, only 1 in 4 actually do. When my friends or classmates find out I volunteer, they usually ask why. At my school, we don't need volunteer hours to graduate, and I'm just a freshman anyways. Most of the time, I respond with something like, because I want to. And while that is true, there is so much more than that. But I can't give them a whole TED Talk's worth of explanation. So why even volunteer? I would say it's for the experience, in more ways than one. I volunteered at many places since I was a little kid, and at each place I've done something I've never done before. The first time I volunteered was in 3rd grade. I started at my old preschool, St. Ambrose Children's Campus. One day, out of the blue, my mom asked me if I wanted to go and read to the kids there. And I thought, why not? I was excited to go back to my old preschool, but I admit I was a little nervous about reading to 4-year-olds. Some of them were even taller than my 8-year-old self. But I went along with the plan. I read to them, tried to keep their attention, and for the first time in my life, I'd done something way out of my comfort zone. I didn't realize how important that was, or that I'd even done it at the time. A couple years later, when I was 11, I started volunteering at the Figge Art Museum, where I've gone to countless art classes and have visited multiple times. I practically grew up there, and I wanted to give back, so I volunteered at the summer classes for younger children. Basically, my job was to help the kids around, make sure they're doing what they're supposed to and such. I still remember one particular girl who came to most of the classes. She was very nice, but she was really into doing her own thing, which was mostly rolling around in beanbag chairs. I didn't really know what to do about the situation. I'd never dealt with a difficult kid before. So I decided just to sit her out. Eventually she stopped, and then we went back to the classroom. I learned a lesson in communication while volunteering at the Quad City Youth Ensembles, where I play the cello. In 6th grade, I volunteered to take students from their practice space to their audition room. And even though I wasn't the one auditioning, I was terrified. I'd help little kids at the children's campus and the Figge, but never scary big kids. When I first started doing this, I was more of a robot. I guided those nervous students to their audition without saying a word, Tower of London style. But I felt really bad about this because I saw another volunteer helping out. He was a fellow student, although quite a lot older than me, but he was very outgoing and easy to talk to. He made the others feel relaxed as they were going to their audition. Seeing this made me feel like I was doing my job wrong, or at least not doing it properly. I realized that I would have to step out of my comfort zone and I'd have to be more outgoing. I volunteer auditions every year, and it's taken time since then, but I am more outgoing now, even if that's not my natural disposition. Just last year, when I was in 8th grade, I became more interested in medical careers. So what better place to learn more than a real hospital? I volunteer at Genesis East Hospital and now play the cello in the lobby, work the front desk, and deliver art made by elementary schoolers to patients. On my very first day volunteering at Genesis, I went to go play the cello in the lobby. And apart from giving this talk, it was the scariest thing I've ever done. I'd never played just solo in front of strangers, so it was something that worried me the entire day. As I was setting up and I saw people passing by, some sitting in the chairs behind me, people going up and down the stairs, I got even more nervous. What would these people think of me? What if I messed up? They would notice. I even managed to come up with the horrifying thought I would play so bad people would complain to the hospital. And who knows, maybe I'd even get escorted out of the building. But as I was about to start, I took a deep breath, and I told myself not to worry what would happen next, and just do what I do all the time. Just play. So I did. And yeah, I was nervous the whole time, and I did make mistakes. I still do. But I did something I'd never done before. something I would have never imagined myself doing. And that gave me confidence. I hear people now ask, when is the cello girl gonna play next? And I get to play music different from everyday orchestra. It's fun to switch from Beethoven's Fifth Symphony to Phantom of the Opera in a single day. An unexpected value I've learned from volunteering is learning to deal with awkward situations. And this happens a lot at the hospital. Whether it's a patient asking if I'm married to a visitor or someone mistaking me for a nurse, it's all happened even in my short time there. Genesis has a great program called Art from the Heart. In the program, kids from local elementary schools create works of art, and we volunteers give them to patients. Many times, I've been in a patient's room for over 30 minutes, listening to them tell me about their life. It can get awkward being in their room for such a long time, but I've realized that for many of these people, I'm the only one who comes to visit. I'm the only one who is there to listen. So, in many ways, Art from the Heart has more than one meaning. Another volunteer assignment at Genesis is the ambassador desk. It's like a hospital concierge. Our job is to guide visitors, transport patients, deliver flowers to rooms. It's a pretty straightforward job. Just a few weeks ago, a man came in asking where the emergency room was because he had high blood sugar. I directed him on where to go, and as he was leaving, he turned around and asked for one of the candies on the counter. Not thinking, I offered him one. It took me a while to realize what I just said, and he just left laughing. But at the desk, we have a lot of responsibility, and with that comes the need for problem-solving skills. I remember one of my very first days. My partner was off transporting a patient, so I was alone. A family came up to me and asked for the room of someone they knew. Now, finding rooms using the computer is the most basic task we do. All we need is a patient's last name and their room number should pop right up. I tried and tried to search for this name over and over again, but nothing was coming up. I explained to them it was my first day, and eventually they went to the cafeteria. But I was still determined to find this room, spelling the patient's last name any way I could, trying to get it to work. After countless attempts, I realized that I had not pressed the enter key to search for anything the entire time. So I did. I quickly wrote down the room number, found the family, gave them directions on where to go, and now I have no problem finding patients. When we get the chance, my family and I like to go to Riverbend Food Bank's Saturday backpack parties, where we help assemble food packs for disadvantaged kids. We all have donated non-perishables through school or food to people in need, but we do not give much thought to the preparation required to assemble backpacks like these. If you've not seen this, it's almost a military operation. Volunteers stand next to a line of crates that carry the food, while other volunteers walk past with open bags into which the others drop a set quantity of food. So imagine this to be a continuously running conveyor belt of volunteers. In just a couple of hours, we prep around 700 backpacks of food. After doing this the first time, it took me a while to realize just how many of these packs were going to my own school, to my peers I see every day, people who I share a class with. This really was a revelation, and it set this experience apart for me, because it was one of the first times I truly understood I was actually making a difference. Since I was a young kid, I always thought volunteering was just a nice thing to do. When I look back, I realize how much I've gotten out of it. I've realized giving back to the community has given back to myself. One of the best feelings is when I'm playing the cello at the hospital and a kid comes up to me, curious as to what I'm doing, or sits down to listen. Or when someone says my playing made their day. Considering volunteering as boring, doing thankless tasks without a reward is a myth. I've made an impact on the people around me, and I've gained so many invaluable experiences. I believe volunteering is one of the best ways to grow as a person, to get out of your comfort zone and learn so many skills that will help you in your life. I've noticed volunteerism has boosted my overall happiness, lowered my stress, and it's given me the honor to say I'm making a difference. It's also given me a new perspective of my own community and the challenges people, including my own peers, face. And it's given me life lessons that I will carry forever. And that is why I volunteer. Thank you.